Well, hello there, it's Andy again, and man, I'm seeing some interesting stuff going on right now the last 2 days. And I'll give you some examples. Yesterday at the Taco Bell, I stopped in for something to eat, and there were two fellows that came in after me, and they were talking about how they both have been laid off in the last week. I don't know what they did exactly, but they were talking about how many people they know who are laid off. So then they leave, and three other guys come in, and two of those guys are out of work. And I guess the other guy who was not out of work, one of the three, was a contractor of some sort, and they were talking about how tough it is and how they're only getting work maybe 1 day a week, if that. So that's another thing. So then I open up my store, and as the day progresses, I had three people who came in, all to sell books for cash. Luckily, I could pay out. And then I had the most interesting thing of the day, which I think was interesting. A fella came in, and I know this fella, and he has sold me some books before. Well, he sold me silver dollars from 1921, and these are um, Morgan dollars. And I've been a collector of coins for a long time, and I decided that he wanted to know if there was a place that would buy them. He didn't know that I had bought them, and I told him I'll buy them from you. So I wrote him a check for them, and I paid him the spot price on the silver. There's a little bit of copper in there, 10% copper. So I guess I made on the copper. It's not worth much, but yeah, I buy. So when I have a chance, I don't like to pay commissions or fees to anybody, but I try to buy it if I know somebody's selling it. So he sold it, and he told me, hey, he just feels that he's got to get rid of everything right now. I don't know why. But so he's selling silver. So then in the evening, I had a discussion with somebody. It was like late afternoon when I was having lunch. And it's a fellow who owns a business here. He's from India. And what he told me was I found very enlightening. He said his brother-in-law just got back from India, and he said, you would not believe what they're talking about in India. Everyone in India, this is the man on the street, people who don't go anywhere, haven't been out of the country, but the man on the street, they are talking about the dollar collapsing. And this is overseas, and it's in the news, and it's in the newspapers. And he was telling me about a paper here in America that had a debate between Indian paper, for the Indians that live here, a debate about what would collapse entail. And one guy was debating that it would look like Brazil in the 1980s. Of course, I don't remember Brazil, but I do remember the Argentina crisis of the 70s and the 90s. So that's what they're talking about, that this could evolve or devolve into a crisis like like Brazil, where their currency was worth 3 times less, or devalued by 3 times. So that was his talk, and he said, hey, I've got $600,000 of U.S. cash. What do I do? He asked me, and I said, maybe you should consider putting some of that into Indian rupees, or putting it into Canadian dollars, or maybe taking some other currencies right now just to hedge against the fact that it may fall, or put it into gold and silver. There really aren't too many places you can go with it. Or I said, if it's going to cost you a lot more because of monetary inflation, maybe you should be thinking of buying extra rice for your store, extra grains for your store, extra whatever it is, canned goods that you use, and just stockpiling it, because it'll only cost you more later if there is a dollar collapse. So these are the things I'm seeing. So that was all yesterday. Then today I had another person come in, drop off books. They needed some money, so it wasn't a lot, so I paid them out. And then I had my former neighbor here, who owns a glass installation business, and they had moved out 2 months ago, I guess now, and they weren't able to afford their rent here, so they moved out, and then now and it's still vacant. But anyways, she said, I hosted a gold party at my house the other day. And she goes, I made 10% commission on what my friends were selling. So she's basically going around and getting all of her little lady friends and relatives to come to the place and sell their gold to this guy who comes in off the street. You don't know who he is, but he apparently brings his little machine, sets up a table, and he weighs all the gold and gives them, this his standard price for it. And then she got a 10% commission. So obviously, if he's giving 10% commission, there's probably a lot of, I shouldn't say markup, but markdown in what he's giving them for the gold that they're selling to him. And she told me how she sold 2 rings to the guy and got, some money, and her husband sold a ring, and they sold some other stuff, and she's so far sold $3,000 worth of her jewelry to this fella so that she can muddle through. And I know she's in dire straits, but it just interests me how this gold party thing is becoming a big deal, and people are really participating. She's held 2 now. She had one last weekend. She's going to hold another one with all of her friends. So basically, she's becoming the snookerer. She's snookering her friends into selling their stuff at a huge discount. I can tell you that right now. And this is what's happening in America. This is what's happening in California. And yeah, I'm pretty sure that, knowing Californians, they're probably going out and spending that money right into the economy, which is actually, in some respects, hurting us. Because where were those, we don't manufacture anything, so they're probably buying a lot of goods off seas, or, bringing down inventories of stuff that's being stockpiled. But I don't know, but still, you have to wonder how it's affecting the economy and how it's affecting the numbers of the economy that we're spending off our gold. I haven't, but some people do or have. So it's sad. The average person out there does not understand economics, does not understand what real wealth is, does not understand how to control themselves and be productive. Just simply does not understand. They live for today, and they hear of a promise of better tomorrow, but they don't know what they're getting. What they're getting is slavery. They will be enslaved, and anybody who thinks like I do needs to think of how they're going to resist. Resistance is the best answer to all this. At some point, it will be rebellion. But there you go. So that's it for today, and I will wait a little bit and cut it off.